been a long time, guys, but we here. This thing right here, the 33mm F1.4. This is my favorite lens that I have right now. Spoilers, you know how much I love the 35, but I was just thinking about it. There really is no use for me to keep the 35 now that I have this. We're gonna get into this review right here of this bad boy. Look at this. Look how sexy that lens is. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is me, Iamtongue, and today we have a review of this bad boy right here. We got the 33mm F1.4 lens review. So I've been using this lens for about 3 months. I've been using it exclusively since getting it. I did not use any other lens during my stay here on the island, and I've gotten to know this lens quite well. My uses for this lens are travel photography, of course. Document the streets of Honolulu, took all sorts of photos around the island. I went to Kauai and got some epic shots that you will never see because I'm a freaking dumbass. I didn't back up my photos and most of the good shots are now lost. I'm such an idiot. Oh man, back up your photos, triple back them. I've learned my lesson, I think. Hopefully. I became a family portrait photographer on this trip, taking photos of our friends and their infant child. And because of that, I also became like a baby portrait photographer. So I've been taking loads of photos of the baby, and seeing him just grow before my eyes is an amazing process. It's really awesome to see, so get ready for lots of baby photos. And I mean lots of baby photos, okay? And I'm not sorry for it because this kid is so damn cute. I've also used this lens to shoot with a few local models while I was here, so this is a mixed bag when it comes to photography, and I think it covers a lot of what people are going to shoot if they are curious of this lens. And I know people are going to come here and ask if they should get this or the 35mm F1.4. I'm just going to save you some time and say, if you can afford the 33mm lens, get the 33mm lens. I am sold on this lens. If you want to hear my thoughts on the 33mm F1.4 versus the XF 35mm F1.4, you can watch it here somewhere. My views haven't changed since that video was uploaded, so go ahead and watch that. Let's start with the build quality. So the 33mm has the same premium quality we all love from Fujifilm. It is also a bit longer and heavier than the 35mm F1.4. You definitely feel the weight, but in terms of being a heavy lens, it's still not a heavy lens compared to the other lenses out there, which makes it super fun to use. Like I said before, I was using this lens exclusively going around the island using nothing but this lens paired with my Fujifilm X-S10. And never once did I have an issue with the size and the weight of it. So if you own the XF 18mm F1.4, then you would be familiar with this one as well. I think this is going to be the standard build of their lens moving forward, especially with their WR lens. You have the aperture ring, which is a bit flimsy on the 18, but it does have a nice smooth resistance on the 33mm right here. Not as flimsy as the 18. This lens also has weather resistance or weather sealing. Now, I really appreciate this because of where I am. In Hawaii, you know, there are lots of beaches, it's sandy, there's lots of sand everywhere. There's never a day where I don't find sand on me. So you see where I'm going with this. I just appreciate the weather resistance so much. It gives me that peace of mind. I'm more confident to take this lens out in these types of weather conditions. I've shot with it outside the rain and had no issues. I shot with this where I was near a waterfall which has spraying mist all over the place, and I'd say it held up quite nice. So I am quite satisfied with the WR on this lens. How well does it do against tornadoes, you ask? Well, I am fortunate enough to say that I don't think I'm ever going to be in that type of situation. I hear Sony lenses are resistance against tornadoes. If the 33mm F1.4 isn't resistant against tornadoes, I'm switching to Sony. Oh man. Oh, stupid. That was so fucking stupid. I hope you guys like these switching to Sony jokes. I'm having fun. I'm having fun. So this autofocusing system is the new LM linear motor focusing system that Fuji has implemented. This is probably the best autofocusing lens to date. And I've been using it on things like, you know, photographing our friend's baby. And for a baby that doesn't know how to walk yet, he does move around and fidget a lot. This caused for a lot of sudden movements where sometimes I would have to anticipate his movements. And because of this, I need a reliable autofocusing system, and this lens delivers on that. I don't ever use the maximum burst rate on continuous high. Whenever I shoot, it's on continuous low burst. And I'm usually shooting around 5 frames per second, and that is enough for me. And I find the autofocusing to be excellent, really, really good. And from my experience, there is probably 1 or 2 photos from like 10 to 15 shots where it does miss focus, which is pretty good in my books, considering that I came from a 35mm F1.4 where the autofocusing tracking was horrible. This 33mm lens is miles ahead better. So that the autofocusing alone, I think, is worth the upgrade from the 35mm if you guys are thinking it. I've also photographed my lovely wife a lot while here on the island. She has her own Instagram account where she likes to post travel photos of herself. And with her, she likes to move around a lot when I photograph her. It just makes her look natural because she likes to be in the flow when I take a shot of her. She moves around a lot, and whenever there's like an epic backdrop, she likes to walk in a straight line while I fire off a few bursts to capture the perfect moment for her. And I have to say the autofocusing handled that quite well. Where the autofocus does mess up is when the subject is just moving too fast. And I think that's more to do with the Fuji cameras than the lens itself. I'm using the Fujifilm XS10, and this is the best autofocusing system they have implemented so far, and it's not as good as, like, you know, the Canons or the Sony's autofocusing, so there's still room for improvement. And I'm just hoping the new Fujifilm X-H2 is going to have the latest and the best tech, and hopefully it could be competitive to the industry standard autofocusing like the Sony or like the Canon. Overall, I am happy with this lens's autofocusing. I love it, and I'm happy with the results I'm getting. I think this is the best autofocusing lens Fuji has made so far, better than the 90mm f2. It has, I don't know, there's like some sort of stickiness to it, and I find the results to be, I'm amazed. I'm shocked by how good this lens is. And yeah, so if you want to see an autofocusing comparison between the 33mm f1.4 and the XF35, again, just watch the comparison video up here somewhere. That video is going to go into more detail than this video right here. The face tracking and the eye tracking on this is really good also. So again, no complaints on the autofocusing. This is well done. Thanks, Fuji. And let's move on to the image quality. So the image quality, is it better than the 35mm f1.4? Does it have the same magic as the 35mm? Is the bokeh better than the 35mm f1.4? So I gotta say, the bokeh on the 33 is so much better than on the 35mm f1.4. It's so much better. 35mm f1.4 has some of the weirdest, busiest bokeh I've ever seen. Depending on what you shoot, it could be so jarring and so distracting. It just annoys the shit out of me when I used to take photos with that lens. But this 33mm f1.4 lens right here, man, this bokeh is a lot smoother. It looks a lot cleaner, and overall, the image quality is just sharper across the boards. So I was trying to get some close-up shots of our friend's baby Rowan, and I just love the fall off on this lens. It has like a nice smooth fall off. It just produces some dreamy bokeh that you're going to like. Once you stop it down to the sweet spot, like from f4 to f8, this lens can get great sharpness. The images really do look better in my eyes. There are chromatic aberrations, but I feel like you have to really look for it. I think it's fine and it's not as distracting. It's well controlled. The flares you get when you shoot towards the sun is quite nice. It's not as distracting as the other lenses with the X-mount system, but it produces some nice dreamy flares, and yeah, overall no complaints on that. So does it have the Fuji magic like the 35mm F1.4? To me, I think it does, but it's a different type of magic. It's a different type of vibe, you know? If the 33mm F1.4 practices dark magic, the 35mm F1.4 would be a Magic the Gathering card game. That's all I could say about that. Everything I shot with the 33mm has turned out really good and really sharp. It's sharper than the 35mm F1.4 wide open. The color contrast on this lens is great. There is a slight vignetting when shooting wide open, but other than that, it's definitely overall the better lens. The characteristics on the 35mm is not on the 33mm, okay? That being said, characteristics is only one aspect of a lens, and I don't mind it because I do feel that you get a lot more from the 33mm F1.4 as an overall package. So I can see anyone who needs an update from the 35mm F1.4 getting this lens. This autofocusing alone is enough to sell me on the upgrade, if I'm being honest. I didn't think the autofocusing could be that good, but for me, it works well in what I shoot, and it's more reliable than the 35mm F1.4. And that's the key word, is that this thing is reliable. One thing that I would hate is missing focus, because the 35mm F1.4 couldn't keep up with the movements. I really love this lens, and I think a lot of people will love this lens as well. I think this is the best lens that Fujifilm has put out so far. I just love this focal length, this nifty 50 full frame equivalent focal length. Doing what I do, traveling, taking portraits, documenting what I see on the island, I didn't feel the need for anything else, if I'm being honest. I'm in Hawaii, so I have enough room to operate. So if I wanted to move back, I can definitely move back to get a wider perspective. I also felt that the mountains in the distance here could benefit from a bit of compression. I felt if it was a wider focal length, taking the photo wouldn't have much of an impact. So this 33mm focal length, I felt, was a great compromise between a wide lens and a telephoto lens. The only time where I felt this lens to be tight and when I felt that I needed a wider angle was when I was stuck on a catamaran. It wasn't an ideal focal length to photograph Hillary in, as she wanted something wider, but other than that, I really had fun shooting with this lens exclusively on this Hawaii trip. It did everything I threw at it. I feel priced at $799 is a bit high, but if you got the money, this is the lens to get. Just skip the 35mm F1.2 and skip the 35mm F1.4 and just get this one. The only problem is that because of the chip shortage, it's so hard to find right now. I'm so lucky that there's one on the island that I picked up like 3 months ago. But if you can't get one, make sure to get one, because you're getting the latest and fastest autofocusing. You're getting the weather sealing. You're also getting that future proof, as this lens can resolve up to 40 megapixels, which the new H2 is rumored to have the 40 megapixels. With that said, you're getting a lot back with this lens. What are your thoughts on this lens? Did you guys get this lens? You know, the chip shortage is crazy. It's affecting some of you that I've heard. Did you guys get your lens yet? Let me know in the comments below. The ones that do have it, what are your thoughts on this lens? Again, let me know in the comments below. I would love to have a chat with you guys. We are so close to getting 3,000 subscribers. I'm just gonna assume I'm gonna hit 3,000 sometime this week when the video is released. So I just want to say thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it. I really do get excited for the comments. You guys are coming in with the comments. It's really great to see that you guys are watching my videos. I had someone comment on one of my photos that I posted from Barcelona. So it's just wild that my videos are reaching so far away from where I'm from. So that's pretty dope to see, man. So once again, like, thank you for the 3,000 subscribers. It means a lot, so I appreciate it. I can't say that enough. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, my name is Tongue, and fucking finger guns, man. I don't know why I start doing this. I don't know why my sign off is so fucking awkward, but once again, my name is Tongue, and I'll see you in the next video. I love you. Okay, bye.